For us black men dating black women in America, it's a challenge for us.
It's not a challenge. You just picking the wrong women. You know what? You just don't understand.
Well, help me understand. Explain it in a way that is appealing to a man, cause I know frustration comes and you throw up your hands. Let's debate upon the topic. I will listen to your stand. I'll object it if I can. Can I interrupt her though? She's passionate about it. When she speaks, it lets you know. He say, she say, intro song. I hope you enjoy the show. Evan Jefferson is on. Let me introduce the host.
Boy, I'm ready to have some fun tonight, man. What is going on, beautiful people, man? How are you here tonight, man? On the He Say, She Say show where everybody got a voice. Why not let your voice be heard, man? I am your host, ERGJ, man. I had to switch it up on him as well. I'm ready to have some fun here tonight, man. Hopefully you guys are as well as we tap into this relationship thing, man. Got a couple brothers that'll be with me. I see you guys in the lobby. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight on the He Say, She Say show. It's Sunday, and even if you got a job, you ain't got to go to work tomorrow, hopefully. And so we can have some fun here tonight, man, as we get into this thing, man, about this thing called the relationships, man. Love, money, and relationships, man. That's what we got going on here tonight. Now, here's the deal. There are some rules to this show. So as you guys join early, I'll be repeating these over and over again throughout the night just because, you know, people come in a little late. But we want to find out who's here already. So if you are a sister and you've joined us here tonight, go ahead and put in the comments below, she say. If you are a brother and you have joined us here tonight, go ahead and put in the comments below, he say. Now, here's the deal, man. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the relationship experience. Huge red flags. Now, this can be any relationship. It doesn't just have to be a partner relationship, man. You've seen some huge red flags with some of your friends that ain't friends no more. You've seen some huge red flags in the people that you try to do business with or work with. Yeah, so it can go all across the place in this relationship experience because we're developing relationships or breaking them each and every day as we kind of cruise through life, man. So I'm super excited about that. Now, here's the deal. Reason why I got y'all putting he say and she say in so quickly because here tonight, you're going to be one to add something to the conversation. And if you're a sister, you're going to simply put she say before your comments so we can recognize as a female thought. And if you're a brother and you want to add something to the conversation, because you know the female are going to say some crazy stuff, then you're going to come back, you're going to say he say, whatever it is you have to say so we can know that you're representing some of our brothers here tonight. All right, so let's find out who's here already, man. Queen Yvette is in the house. She say is in the house, man. That's right. Oh, Queen Catherine Nicole's in the house. She says in the house. What's going on? We got some bros out, man. D Lane is in the house. He say, thanks so much for joining us. Got another one. Yes, the bros are coming out strong here tonight, man. He say from our brother Jamal, man. Good evening to you. King Anthony is in the house. Oh, Cody, the brothers are here. The brothers are here. That's what I need to see. The brothers are here, man. That's why we go, whoo, Lord, we the only ones. Oh, Lord, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. She says, oh, yes. Oh, yes, we got another. Okay, make sure you put he say in. We got another one here tonight. Oh, it's going to be the bros came out strong here tonight. Oh, we're going to be ready to rock and roll. All right, so again, if you're a sister, you want to add to the conversation, you put she say, then your comments. Brothers, if you're here, you want to add to the conversation, put he say and add to the comments. Man, hit the like button, the share button so we can have a good time here tonight with all your friends and we get into this thing called relationships. Let me introduce some of our panel here tonight. They've been with us here before. They're back again. That's right. They are back again. I see that they look like they're ready to rock and roll, man. We do have my main man, Brother Anthony, is in the house, man. Brother Sims is in the house. And then we also have from Platinum Treasures, the CEO of Platinum Treasures, the adult novelty store, my brother Toy Guy, man. Good evening to you, brothers. How you doing tonight?
Good evening. Good evening.
What's happening?
All right, I got you, Toy. Okay, I got you, Anthony. Thanks so much, man. Anthony, man, if you could do a quick little brief introduction, man. Tell us a little bit who you are, man, your status as we head into tonight here on this Memorial Weekend.
He say, my name is Anthony Sims. I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am currently in final expense funeral sales. I also got an e-commerce store called The Getting Place, THA, gettingplace.com. I am currently single and dating. So just kind of have some fun out here and some good conversation tonight.
Man, thanks so much for joining, Anthony. You got a little delay between your lips moving and the voice coming in. You could just exit and come back in, man. Hopefully that'll fix it. Brother Toy, guys in the house, man. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing tonight?
I can't call it, man. What's happening with you? How's everything?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Thanks so much for joining. It'll be almost, not last night, but I was going to say 2 nights in a row we've been doing a broadcast, but thanks so much for joining us, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are, man, as you joined us here tonight to have the conversation about relationship experience and huge red flags.
All right, no problem, man. My name's Carl, also known as the Toy Guy, owner of Platinum Treasures in the Baltimore metropolitan area. Married. I've been married for approximately 7 years.
All right, so we got a good little panel here. Now I had a sister. She in the comments. I don't know why she didn't click the link. I don't really understand sometimes, but I managed to be back a little bit. Not quite sure. I put a link in your messenger. You're supposed to hit that. I thought. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't clear. Who knows? But we're gonna keep it moving anyway, man. So we might have a sister coming on tonight. Y'all know y'all been like all the brothers. We might. I don't know, because it seems like when I invite, we don't get the right communication going on, and it don't happen. I don't know. But anyway, so we want you guys to know, man. Here's the deal, man. We got a couple things we need to do right tonight. Because sisters, please, I'm gonna tell y'all, just put this out there up front. Y'all, you tend to kind of have the same playbook when you respond. So, try to avoid the deflection tonight, try to avoid the generalization stuff, and maybe, kind of own your own stuff. And that might actually help us to move forward with these relationships and stuff, man. As we're talking about huge red flags. That's right, huge red flags. Now, we're going to start actually by actually paying homage to a brother who wrote a book called Choose Wisely. And in the book Choose Wisely, I found as we were in this chapter that we're in, it kind of leads us into what we'll be talking about here tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this little section from our brother Derrick Alford. And this is actually a book called Choose Wisely, the Black Man's Guide to Healthy Relationships. Then we'll get you guys' response from this reading and then also from our panel as well. But chapter 5 is the signs to watch out for. Signs to watch out for. So let's see what Brother Alford has for us, man, in his book, Choose Wisely, the Black Man's Guide to Healthy Relationships. He says this, the signs are the red flags or warning signals. Everybody put accounts on red flags. As we as men often seem to ignore or overlook when it comes to dealing with girls and women. Some of these signs are very small and some are big and directly in your face. Whether you are dating or in a relationship, if she is not right for you at some point, she will show you signs. And when she shows you these signs, you have to take action immediately. Do not wait. Not acting could be detrimental to your health and your life. This is another reason you need to know yourself, because knowing that allows you to have a standard set. Oh, having a standard. You know exactly what you're willing and not willing to tolerate, and that will keep you out of many drama-related situations. I don't even want to go no further than this. Let me stop right here. When you know exactly what you are willing and not willing to tolerate. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Willing and not willing to tolerate. That will keep you out of many drama-related situations. Man, let me come down to Anthony, man, get to taking this first passage. And what does he say about maybe some situations that you've noticed that kept you out of, drama-related incidents, so to speak? I got you on mute.
He say, the hard part about dating this day and age is, we have access to a lot of information. And based on what that passage was about, noticing those little things and then ignoring them and eventually coming back to it. Some of the things that I can say that I've ignored in the past that eventually end up knocking on my forehead saying, you already knew this, was the way somebody carries themselves on social media. If they're too petty, if they don't listen, if they are unreasonable in some of their thought process, those things would generally be red flags that sometimes you just say, oh, that's just the way they are on Facebook or on Instagram. You ignore it, you get into a relationship, and then it comes back to bite you in the ass later on. So that's just one quick example in today's dating signs that I go through.
Man, oh man, yeah, absolutely. What's going on, brother Toy Guy? Again, this could be any relationship that we're talking about, as you're seeing signs to watch out for. Man, what's your take on brother Alford's first chapter, first paragraph, and things that you, I guess, will or will not stand for?
I mean, I pretty much just agree with Brother Anthony as well, like the things that you see on social media. But, my take on a lot of this stuff, boss, is more so whatever the person, like show you, believe it. You know what I'm saying? Just as simple as that. Like, it's no, oh, this person's going to change, this, that, and the third. If they show you the red flags, believe it. It's up to you if you feel, that is something that you can handle. If not, I'm out of there.
Man, absolutely, man. He said, man, this is an excellent kind of intro into the topic tonight. Huge red flags. We do have our sister that's trying to get in. Let me know. Look like she might be here. If give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Is that a thumbs up? Let me see. Is that a thumbs up? No. You ready? You don't have no thumbs? I don't know. Can you shake your head if you're ready? Okay, all right, fantastic.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on. Technical difficulties over here.
hey, how you doing, Queen? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Man,
How you doing, Kathy?
Hey, I think Kathy, you might be the second female that's been on the show this year. So it's an honor and pleasure to have you. If you could just tell us a little bit about who you are, your status right now, as we get into this conversation tonight.
Awesome. I'm Kathy Nicole. I am married 1 year, actually. I currently have an e-commerce store, and I do a whole bunch of different things, but yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Thanks so much for joining. Now, we just had a little excerpt about warning signals, and he said if you know exactly what you should know, you ought to be able to know exactly what you're willing and not willing to tolerate.
Right.
I don't know if you heard that passage, but tell us a little bit about what you did here and what you may be willing or not willing to tolerate.
Ooh, some things you should not be willing to tolerate. Number one, I think someone that cannot accept you unfiltered. You don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not. That's a major.
So that's something. So are you saying that are you saying that you're willing to? You just put it on everybody else. That's something that you're not willing to tolerate yourself? Somebody that's being fake? I don't really.
No, something that when you're not able to be yourself around someone, if they can't accept you for who you are.
Okay, I got you. So okay, I won't be tolerated if I can't be myself around somebody else. Gotcha. Right. Absolutely. Whew. Oh no, that communication gonna be something else. I'm still working on it.
He said that's a real big deal when it comes down to being able to be your authentic self when you enter into any kind of relationship, whether it be personal, romantic, or professional. Because the biggest thing is you have to bring your authentic self in anything that you do, and not being accepted is a difficult thing when you're trying to pretend to be somebody else and you wanting that relationship to be successful.
He said that's interesting. I wonder how many people are doing that, just to be accepted on like a job or something like that, where you're not really may not be able to be your full self, on the job, which could cause some inhibition, some I don't know, some malice in the heart or anything like that. That's an interesting thing, that dynamic, not just in romantic relationships, but like I said, any other type of relationship where there's some huge flags. So are you able to be yourself, wherever you kind of go? Are you able to be yourself? Man, so tonight, guys, we got different statuses. And again, for those that's in the audience, for those of the brothers that want to add to the conversation here tonight, put in the comments below, he say before you speak. That way you can be, your voice can be heard. And if you're she say, do the same thing. You put she say, and then whatever you have to say afterwards to add to the conversation. I wanted to kind of start by talking about this because Brother Anthony talked about, I think Toy Guys talked about accepting people for who they are. When they show you who they are, believe them. And so I want to talk about a red flag that actually that was like alarming for me just recently. I recently met someone that wanted to get something from me. I got something from him. I actually brought him a gift to say, hey, I see that you've been working out a lot lately. Here's a mask that you could use for your working out. And the kind of immediate response after that was like, oh, I saw some pictures that you put up and you were looking like an old man and all this stuff. And it was almost like a little insult, right? To like my old picture that I put up from 6 years ago. And I was like, wow, you just literally just insulted me after I brought you a gift that I was kind enough to think about you in advance, say, man, this might be something that you could use. We proceed to have a little bit further conversation. And, I returned the favor with my snide remark. I said, hey, at this point, I ain't got no respect for you. I'm going to give it right back to you the way that you did it. And when I did that, she almost came to me as if like, can't you do better than that? Aren't you more mature than that? I said, well, you do realize you just insulted me, right? and it was a big, huge red flag. Like, you could insult me. I could tell you that you insulted me. And guess what? You still don't apologize. I said, yeah, you're going to keep getting some of this heat then, because that's just who you are. And I'm going to give it to you like I give it to you, man. So that was a huge red flag that I saw dealing with someone. And it's very amazing to me how people can try to point something out on you and they actually doing the exact same thing, man. What's a red flag? What's a red flag for you, Miss Catherine Nicole, man? A red flag, a huge red flag in the relationship experience.
In the relationship experience, piggybacking off of what you just said, do they really believe in you? Like, do they honor and do they respect you? Like, your beliefs and your goals and your passions, do they really have your best interest at heart? Are they just along for the ride? I mean, it's different ways you can look at it.
Are they just going along for the ride, man? Absolutely, man. Brother Anthony, what you got for man? Some huge red flags in the relationship experience.
I mean, piggybacking off that, he say, the way that my career is set up, I can be busy quite a bit. And then, of course, with my entrepreneurial endeavors, that can also take a lot of time. Someone that is, if I want to schedule and prioritize them into my day, if they're going to be, I guess, complaining about it, oh, I would want to have this amount of time, or you go to bed too early, or anything along, you're always working, any excuses about me getting my money is going to also be a huge red flag to me, because I believe that the person that's right for me is going to help me secure the bag and encourage me to get out there and get it, and not be a hindrance to it, and also become a bill trying to, get me to take them out and so forth, where it's not going to be beneficial to me or to our relationship or to the businesses that I'm currently involved in or that I run. So that's going to be a huge red flag to me, as far as not being understanding and supportive of the things that I'm doing to improve the wealth and the future of my family.
Man, he said, man, that's absolutely phenomenal point. I was actually having a conversation with someone about that dynamic between like an employee mind and an entrepreneur mind. Toy guy, man, what you got for us, man, in relationships and the experience that you've had, man? Some huge red flags that's just like you can't ignore.
Man, it's a couple of them. One would just be, like finances. Like if we're not on the same level, like finance wise, that, like that's a red flag. A person that's argumentative, like all the time, that's a red flag. An individual that's not a go-getter, that's a red flag for me. And my fault. Before I got to talking, he said, let me think here. It's so many, but those are the ones that really stand out to me, like as of right now.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you said you say those are not a go-getter. But you also said you said that's argumentative all the time. Talk us a little bit about argumentative all the time, because I feel like it's like this argumentative state, man, that that many that it seems like many women have in them. It's to me, it's like, okay, are you picking a fight, or
right, right.
is it always something wrong? I mean,
right.
because let me say something. You can have the best day, like it's like, man, we did this, we did that, everything good. You think anyway, everything good. One slip up, and it's like, you really talking about this for the next 45 we just had? Like,
well, he say what I truly chalk that up to be is that, the person, whoever that person is, they just lack, like communication skills, to, properly articulate, like what their issue may be, as opposed, but so instead of articulating, whatever they think the issue may be, their way is just, just start an argument. One of the things that I don't like, I mean, although I'm not in the market or nothing like that, what I do see is like a lot of women will say stuff like, like, in order to get with me, you got to be able to handle my mood swings, because I'm bipolar. Well, I don't know if you're joking or not. You know what I'm saying? If you're not joking, then you need to go seek help. But if you're just saying that because, at a flip of the switch, you can turn into a completely different person, you know what I'm saying? Like, a person like myself, I got a problem with things like that. So, so like, like a person that's just like full of drama, can't articulate, what I'm saying, whatever their concerns are, anything like that. They just have to spark an argument just to feel good about themselves. I don't want to be involved.
Woo! It's such a great statement. He said, man, again, for the brothers who want to add something to the conversation, he say, then your comment. Also, she say, then your comment. Same thing for you, Miss Catherine Nicole. She say, then your comment. What do you have to add to what has been said here thus far, man? We talk about argumentative and not being able to communicate or express yourself.
You talking to Kathy? You talking to me?
Catherine Nicole.
She say, I agree totally to that, because that's stressful. We have enough daily stress going on as it is. And I relate that to a lot of unhealed trauma. Women have daddy issues, men have mommy issues that they haven't dealt with. And so that spills over into the relationship, and nobody wants to deal with that. So that's a red flag. Like, if it's a red flag and it's a red flag for you, deal with that before you enter into the relationship.
Man, oh man, the relationship experience, huge red flags. We'll catch up on the comments. Anthony, did you want to add something to that? Because it looked like you might have been talking at the bit.
Yeah, he said one of the things that Toy Guy said that is a huge red flag for me, and it became a question that I asked in the getting to know you stage after an experience with someone. If she takes any mood altering drugs, bipolar medication, depression medication, or anything like that, I am done. I'm out. I'm just not going to deal with that. That's a huge red flag for me, because in the experience that I had when I met this woman, I did not know she was bipolar. And it wasn't until I was impacted by the bipolarism that I learned about medication and whatnot. And how I learned about it is because she felt fine and she decided that she no longer needs that medication. That's how I found out about the medication, when she flipped out, and then her family informed me, oh, well, we need to get her back balanced. And so we now have her back on her meds and so forth. Please don't give up on her. But at that point, I was done, because I was like, if she knows she needs this medication and she purposely stops taking it because she feels okay, then she doesn't really understand why she's taking that medication. And one day I could wake up with her beside me or on top of me, stabbing me in the chest because, she thought I was somebody else after she decided not to take that medication. So that's a huge red flag for me.
Ooh, he said that's pretty tough. Oh, that's pretty tough. Let's catch up on these comments, man. He say, man, say the makeup of marriage takes thick skin. Tit for tat is exhausting. You will be insulted. It's part of it. Hey, he say, man, I listen. That might, I can take some insults, but let me tell you something. If I can catch it early, why deal with it if I can catch it early? Everybody not insulting. That's what I do know. Everybody's not insulted. So on to the next one. I catch it early. I'm telling you, as I got older brothers, as I get older, I'm catching it early.
Yeah, he said I started asking different questions as I had certain experiences and got a little bit older and kind of fine-tuned what I wanted in my partner. The questions that I asked in the beginning became a little bit more sharper.
Man, let's see here, man. He say, man, some women know how to appear like they want what you want, but after into the relationship, they don't know exactly what they actually want. Draining and waste of time, man. She say, man, I agree. When I was single, it was a red flag for someone who couldn't understand my grind. That's a big one for some people, man. He say, man, bullshit. Not every female knows how to get money, but they have many other great qualities. It's up to you as a man, a career guy versus job guy. Both deserve a great woman. All right. He said, I think women will think we sign up for the mouth because they give up their bodies. She said you have to be in a relationship with God. Absolutely. I hear you. She said when a man starts off saying he is very private, I automatically think he has someone or trying to date multiple women. Instant red flag.
He say. Can I comment on that real quick?
Yeah, go
ahead. So I actually saw that comment, right? And I thought that was pretty interesting. Just because a man come off and say that he's very private doesn't necessarily mean that that he's hiding someone or he's trying to date multiple women or anything like that, right? So I give you an example, like a person of my stature. When I was in my 20s, right, I wasn't very private, meaning, I was pretty much out there, and what I mean by that is, like I drove nice cars, I partied, I did a whole 9 yards, you know what I'm saying? Like I really wanted you to see, that I was doing my thing. Now that I'm a little bit older, I'm in my late 30s, I'm private from the standpoint of you don't need to know everything that I have going on. If I'm just starting off and I'm just getting to know you, why would I put out all my business and everything that I have going on? I don't even know if this relationship is going to go past this, one conversation or this dinner or whatever the case may be. But over time, as we continually get to know each other, then you'll learn more and more about who I am. You see what I'm saying? But I think, a lot of women, or I shouldn't say women, a lot of people, take a person being private as, they're sneaking around or something like that. It's really just, keeping your guards up and, protecting what you have going on, because you just don't know what another person's, intent may be. I know individuals that, spoke on certain things, whether it been businesses or something, stuff like that. And then they end up getting, backstabbed, robbed, shot, killed, all those type of things, because the person's seen it as a money grab or a money play. So, so don't necessarily say that a person's, because they're private, that they automatically sneaking around and doing different things. That's just, to me, that's just not 100% an accurate statement.
Man, absolutely, man. Anybody want to add to this comment from the guest, man? As you say, when a man starts off by saying he's very private, this is interesting. He said, I don't think I've ever used the word that I'm private. I just, if it's something that, sometimes you on a need to know basis. Some stuff you just don't know right now from me. I don't know if it means I'm private or. I mean, I don't know, because I'm like, if you ask me, I will tell you, but I don't freely.
He say it's no different. He say it's like no different, like in the government, right? When you got security clearances and all of that, you may want to get access to something, but it's on a, like a need to know. If you don't need to know, then you don't get access to it. It's really just that simple.
He said, I'm kind of looking at this. If I met a woman who said she was a real private person, how would I feel about that? And so if we're not having consistent communication, then I would think there's something wrong with that whole private thing. But if we're having consistent conversation and, I know where she's coming from, she knows where I'm coming from, she's calling, I'm calling, and we have, a consistency going on, I wouldn't think anything about the private thing. I would think more like what you said, Toy Guy. I'm on a need to know basis on certain things, or they're going to, spoon feed me until they see where we're going with this or what my intentions are.
Exactly.
I can see it that way. But if the communication is not consistent enough, then I would think there's a problem.
Exactly. And I would agree with that, right? But just on a first date, I'm not just going to come out and be like, hey, I got X amount in the bank, I do this and the third, yada, yada, yada. Like, no. Like, again, it's on a need to know basis. Like, I don't know who you are. We're getting to know one another. I don't know if you're going to take the information that I'm giving you and you got somebody outside trying to set me up. Like, I don't really know. So, you got to be private until, you figure out, what this person is all about.
Exactly.
And that's anyone. It's just not a woman. It's a man. It's a business partner. It's whomever, like, you should always be cautious.
Absolutely, man. Captain Nicole, anything you want to add to this private discussion from our guest here?
She say, as far as females thinking that when a male says up front, I'm private, that's letting you know that he's looking for a safe place. And it's all about trust. So you have to build that trust.
Wow. I like that. He say, I like that, a safe place.
Right. Yeah.
She say, and once again, that comes with constant communication and being vulnerable. I mean, you have to be open to, for us women, I feel like we have to create that safe space for the man to actually release that privacy. He's not gonna, and that's grown man shit to me. Like, you say that you're private, then okay, I'm gonna give you your space and give you that time to open up. I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna nag you. That's on you.
He say, I'm feeling that, but here's where it's interesting. If a person says he or she is private, but they want you to disclose all your information.
Oh no!
But they over here private. Like, wait a second, you ain't. What about that exchange of privacy now? Because sometimes they're trying to dig all up into your stuff, but they're not really trying to get none of their stuff back in the exchange of the communication, Brother Anthony.
He said, I've used that term in conversations where I was getting to know somebody. I was, after a couple of conversations where I felt like I was kind of digging them a little bit, I expressed to them that I can be a safe place for you. Will you be a safe place for me? To see what their response is. And it's funny that she used that term, because a lot of women, when you ask them, can they be a safe place for you, they pause a little bit before they actually respond, because they don't really know what that means.
So, Sister Catherine Nicole, they don't really know what that means. What does she say?
She say that means listening, not nagging, being supportive, encouraging, just being there, being available, not just being available. I would say that being available and being open, like he said, that not just you wanting to know their intimate and deepest, darkest secrets and you're not revealing. You have to be open as well.
Ooh, he said, man, that communication piece, that piece there, and I'm pretty sure that exchange of deepness is a fair exchange. That's unique in and of itself. Woo, okay, man. Let's catch up with these comments. She said only calls at certain times, some that she huge red flags, never heard from them at night. Okay. Yeah. He say, man, Black couples will always have the highest divorce rate because we have the highest rate of dysfunction in our homes. We're not able to assemble legacies because of this. Woo, he said
let's kind of go back to that just a little bit. Because I've often seen a comment similar to this before, that we have the highest rate of dysfunction in our homes. And I don't necessarily think that's true, because it depends on the level of dysfunction that we're talking about. Because let me just kind of give an example. So I work in the death care industry. So I work at a funeral home cemetery. That's my regular 9 to 5 job. And what I see there with a lot of families is way more dysfunction than I see with the black families that come in from the white families. And I mean siblings that haven't talked to each other in 20 years, and children that don't talk to their parents, or parents that want to disown their children, parents that hate their grandchildren, and so forth. And so when I compare the number of black families that I sit with when death happens and the number of white families that I sit with when it comes down to it, I see way more dysfunction with the white families than I do with the black families. Now that could be economical, and it could be a different type of dysfunction. So I would probably say emotional wise, we might be more dysfunctional than they are financial wise, which also bleeds into an economic component to it as well.
Man, got some live experience going on, man. Toy guy, you want to add anything to that? Said more dysfunction in our homes, man, just for black couples.
I agree with what Brother Anthony was saying, and he said, what I really just see it as is just like us as a community. We just need to communicate better. Like, that's all that it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, men have their assumptions about women. Women have their assumptions about men. We run the social media to tell our businesses, our business. We look to memes in order to, to determine what our relationship should look like and stuff like that. And with the divorce rate and all those things, all of that can easily be lessened if just two people just come together and communicate, and you accept who I am and I accept who you are. It's really just that simple. Like, it's not like hard at all. I really think we make this harder than like what it really is.
He say simple, yes. Simple to understand, not necessarily simple and easy to do.
Well,
especially when we start factoring in, emotions and equity and fairness and expectations and
right. Agreed. But again, he say, right. So I'm just going to go and speak about like my relationship, right? I'm from Baltimore City. My wife is from Prince George's County, right? So that's considered to be one of the richest counties in Maryland, for like affluent, like African Americans, right? So she comes from a family of all her family members have single family homes. They work, like in the, DC metro system, the federal government and all that stuff. So you basically can say her family is like the aristocrats. My family are like peasants, right? So you got two people from totally two different walks of life. I like club music. She like go-go. You will practically could see us. We're like oil and water, right? We don't mix. But at the end of the day, what I've learned over time is it's just communication. Like, yes, do we get into our arguments and we have our little spats? Absolutely, we do. But most of the time it's because one of us or both of us are misunderstood. And if we like truly just sit down and talk to one another, we tend to iron out whatever that issue is. And like a lot of times me as being like the man, like in a relationship, right? I'm not going to say that I take control of every little thing, this and the third, because I don't, before I make a decision about anything, I always consult her. Before she makes a decision about anything, she always consults me. More importantly, we make that decision together and like whatever, we choose to do. Right. But as we going through this process of whatever it is, we work together. And I think a lot of times in our relationships, we're always working in silos. One person is doing this, the other person is doing that, as opposed to working together. And then that's where you tend to have a lot of your problems. And one person feel like they're being overworked. Another one feels like they're being underappreciated, and all of those things. But again, a lot of stuff can be ironed out if people just talk.
Man, people just talk, man. Sister Kathy Nicole, you there? You good? No? Okay, good. So what's your take here, man? As we get into this conversation a little bit about communication and two people consulting and all that stuff, man. You're married, been married for a year. Anything you have to say about communication?
She say communication is very important, and like you said, we a lot of times we do work as if we're single or not in a relationship, and that can hurt the relationship a lot. But it goes back to, again, whether you're partnered with someone that is on the same path as you're on, whether you guys are working as a team or working separately. Do they believe in what you're doing? And sometimes you feel like you can't talk to that person, so that's a problem.
Man, that's a problem, man. Let's catch up on these comments, guys. He say, she say show, talking about relationship experience. Huge red flags that you've seen in all types of relationships. He said, man, that's not true. We dish it and we take it. You don't have to be a good guy all the time. Feelings are made to be hurt and healed. Hey, man, prior person's a guarded person. Let's see if we catch up on these comments a little bit. She say, man, that is cool. And I'm not speaking from knowing all his business. I'm speaking from the beginning at number exchange. She said, man, I believe that you have to take the time to get to know someone, communicate over time through organic conversations. You will get to know more about a person. Private doesn't mean concealing stuff. People want to know stuff quick instead of taking time to let the relationship develop. Oh, I absolutely agree with that.
He say on that one, how much time though? Because I was watching a TV show the other day, and the lady was saying how it takes a couple of years before she really lets the person know who she really is.
Yes.
And the guy that was pursuing her, he seemed to be okay with it. Now, I was looking at it like, well, she fine, so he probably just taking that time so he can tap it, and then he'll move on, because it don't really seem like what he's really looking for. So it's a matter of, what your goals are when you're getting to know this other person, and how much time you're willing to spend, and how much information you're willing to divulge.
That time that goes by, man. It's really a safe place, man. Here's interesting. So he say by 40 or 50, a man that has not had kids or been married is a red flag. That type of man is very intent in his desire with women. Love is about vulnerability, and you can't truly be intimate without being hurt, angry, having conflict, and growing together. There's no ideal person. There's no ideal person.
He say, I agree with part of that.
Yeah. I agree. He say, I agree with part of it, not all of it.
He say, if you meet a man or a woman that's in their 40s or 50s that does not have children, I wouldn't automatically assume that that's a red flag. Right. I know several gentlemen that have never been married and don't have any children, and they're in their 50s now. And it was a conscious choice, because they came from family with like 15, 16 kids, and they're just like, I just want to be by myself. And so in that selfishness, they didn't want to share their space because they grew up sharing a space with a lot of people. So that was just their preference. They preferred to date. That person have their own space. He has their own space, and they can travel and do all the things they want to do. They just did not want to share a common domicile. I've met women that are in their 40s and 50s that never had kids because they focused on their career. And the guys that they were meeting at that time served a purpose, or there were red flags that they were exhibiting that she was saying, I don't want to waste my time with that guy. And then the next thing you know, they're 40 years old and like, well, it's too late for me to have kids now because I'm not Janet Jackson and have a staff of people that can take care of a kid when I'm 45 years old. Right. So they just do without.
Right. And then he say, some people just can't have kids. You see what I'm saying? So, I know 40 and 50-year-old women that, they just can't have kids. Same thing like with men. It's not talked about, especially like in our culture and things of that nature. But, if you go through the whole process, again, I'm going to speak personally for myself, right? So I have a daughter. My daughter is 9 months old, right? 9 months. My wife and I were actually trying to have her, we were trying multiple times. So in the Black community, right, we don't talk about infertility and things like of that nature. But when you do, it's always in a laughing and a joking manner, right? When it's really not a laughing and joking manner. So 5 years we actually tried, you know what I'm saying? And then we actually got it right. And then, you know, with the help of doctors and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, you know, those things can happen. You see what I'm saying? So what if I got to the point where, you know, me being married and then all of a sudden we couldn't have children, then maybe my wife, you know, passed away or something like that, or we separated due to the fact that, you know, that took a toll on us, on the relationship. And then I just decided to date, and I didn't even want to attempt to try to have kids anymore because I didn't want to have that type of disappointment. So, you know, so I get part of what your statement, what my man is saying, but in actuality, you know, you have to look at that, you know, like full circle.
Man, y'all are being all nice. He say that's some motherfucking bullshit. That's what I'm gonna say. Cause here's the deal, right? So by the time you 40 or 50, most people done been through multiple marriages. So what's the damn? I mean, what y'all done messed up quite a few times versus the person who said, "Shit, I ain't gonna go through that mess up. I'm gonna try to get it right the first time." What the hell? Like,
well, he say, right. So check this out. I got a homeboy right now. So my man is what? I'm 38, so he 37, right? He ain't ever getting married. Reason why is just like he's a financial advisor. Financial advisor, you make a ton of money, probably a millionaire or a multi-millionaire. Like right now, we've been homeboys since high school. His thought process is, yo, I'm never gonna get married. I'm just gonna have fun and enjoy my life, to set and the third. And the reasons why is because he worked hard for his money, and at the end of the day, he knows in the back of his mind, 9 times out of 10, the women that he's gonna come across are gonna only want him for what he have, and they're not gonna try to sign a prenup or nothing like that. So he's not even going to even go down that road. So there's nothing wrong with him. He's not upset. You know, he's not, you know, like been in multiple marriages or nothing like that. He's not angry or whatever the case may be. He just know the type of women that are out here. You know what I'm saying? And they sharks. And more importantly, you know, they watching Real Housewives and all that stuff. And, you know, they all about, you know, dating, living a high life, and then leave the guy and then take the guy for his money, or vice versa. He doesn't even want to go through the BS. So I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it, you know, like his flow. So he'll probably be one of those guys that fall in that category.
man, oh man, let's catch up on this comment again, guys. If your brother you want to add to the conversation, you put he say, then your comment. Your sister want to add to the conversation, she say, then your comment. And that way we can recognize you chatting with us here today on the He Say, She Say show. 40 and 50, the market is pretty much leftovers and sloppy seconds, physical decline, and more emotional baggage, man. Interesting take.
He say, let's go back to this brother. I mean, I'm assuming that this brother's in his 40s or 50s. But I mean, when I was growing up, there were girls that had kids in high school. So, I mean, that's like, I guess you're going to call them somebody sloppy seconds or thirds or fourths or whatever you want to call it. But at this stage, one of the things we have to realize in our 40s and 50s is that most of the time, even if you're married to the first person, you are probably not their first choice. So exactly. I think this whole leftovers and sloppy seconds mentality can get us in a lot of trouble when it comes down to it. And I think that mentality comes from what his second part of that. It comes from having some emotional baggage, in my opinion.
Man,
I mean, let's talk about it.
So right. He say, you think like that, like that, okay. He said, I'm normally with the bros, but I'm sorry, man.
Right.
He say, are you? Did you settle for leftovers and sloppy seconds?
Well, he say, let's just keep it all the way 100, right? If you out, like, you know what I'm saying, and we're all adults on this conversation, right, or on this live. He said, if you fucking, you're always going to be somebody's sloppy seconds, man or woman. It's just simply
Amen.
Put. You know what I'm saying? It's just simply put. Like, you think you may meet a woman and she tell you she's a virgin. I mean, could quite possibly be, but the most of the time, nah. You know what I'm saying? If you really always want to keep it 100, either you've been slutted out or she's been slutted out. So at the end of the day, like, it is what it is.
Man, oh man, physical decline and more emotional baggage. I mean, he said it's just like doomsday, man. As you get older, I don't see that. I see. I mean, he said I see. I just see more wisdom for me, you know, in what I mean. He said I actually see higher caliber women. I meet more higher caliber women. I mean, you're still gonna have your, you know, those that don't fit or those whatever, but
Right.
I'm starting to meet a higher caliber woman, you know, in my experience as I've gotten older. I mean,
as a man thinketh, he shall find, right, or something like that. But I mean,
Right.
when you think on a higher plane, you meet a higher plane of woman.
Right.
When you're still thinking at that level, the sloppy seconds and the leftovers, that's all you're going to run into, because that's what's in the forefront of your mind. You're going to attract those type of women,
right,
that are going to be the ones that you're going to consider leftovers or sloppy seconds. You know,
right.
I look at it like with my own dating lifestyle. You know, every woman that I meet is going to be a new opportunity for me to get to know somebody, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. I've met some amazing women that are professional, that have children, but they're just not right for me. We're not a good fit, but that doesn't make them a bad person.
Right.
And if I thought like that, I would be single and not dating forever.
Right.
Forever, ever. Because, like I said, when you get in your 40s and 50s, we're talking about the second half of somebody's lifespan. The second half. Either they've been divorced or they've had children. They've gone through some things. So we've all gone through some things at this point. You know, once you reach 35 and older, and at that point, it's about how mature you to be able to deal with somebody else's bullshit. Because I always say a relationship is not about my good qualities and your good qualities coming together. The relationship is, can my bullshit and your bullshit get along together? Because we know the good stuff is going to do its thing. Can the bad shit gel good? Can they work in tandem together?
Man, oh man, catch up on these comments getting hot in here, man. Somebody asked, here over just another page. She said one of the main questions was, what do you do for a living? What are your goals? If he has no vision, then to me, he's just floating through life. She also said she's on a private thing. It goes both ways. He or she could be dating multiple people, or it could be person's very cautious. She's just catching up on the comments, man. She say, man, true, we do need space for men because men can be so bossy all the time and treat us women equals. I'm gonna keep going. He say,
hold on. He say, don't women want to be treated as equals?
He say, what? I mean, this equal shit is. Come on,
he say, here's my thing, right? Women want to be treated as equals until it doesn't benefit them, right? So so like so at the end of the day, like they want to be treated as equal, to get equal pay in the workforce. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for that, right? If she does the same amount of work that I do and we have the same title, she should get paid the same amount of money as I do, and vice versa, right? I'm all for that. But even when you're in a relationship, right, my whole thing is, it's like, equal this, equal that. Okay, cool. But then when the bills start racking up, or or whatever the case may be, let's say like, you need a new roof on your home. Any other time you want to be equal, but now you got to drop 10,000 for a roof, and you like, okay, come up with your 5 and be like, oh no, you're the man of the house, you take care of it. Now you don't want to play the equal role. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not beneficial to you. So so that's my thing on that.
He said
equal all the way down the line.
Opportunistic equality. Let's keep moving, man. He say, man, fatherlessness ruins our women and either makes our men angry or effeminate. He said, man, you cannot generalize an answer for a systematic problem. All right. She said, I respect the person being private. We should all have a level of privacy, but why are you telling me you're private and I only know your first name? Ooh. Okay, I can't keep going. He said, when the woman seeks emotion from the man, not as a means of resolution, she ignorantly is destroying her home downs. Whew.
Yo, my man with the comments, Jamal, he need to pick up the Bible, dog. I'm just messing with you.
He should tune in every morning at 6 o'clock.
I'm gonna go ahead and get you, Steven, man. Again, but he say before your comment, man, people just talk, but that's not the answer. You have to be able to communicate in the same level or really be understanding of your partner. I definitely agree. He said then we're better off be off the chain because he has the lifetime to do his shit. Hey, she said that women have kids and men have responsibility to pay child support. Don't know what you're talking about. Again, you want to put she said, he said in between before your comments, a man that has not had offspring or 40 has simply thought about where he wants his life to go. All right, man, thinking man. He said if you only look at marriage from a perspective of avoiding being statistic, you probably shouldn't because it really is a gamble with no guarantees. Okay. He said, yes, sloppy seconds, 4 adults, second marriage, the best years are gone.
Right. Hold on. He said, can we go back to his comment where he talked about like like getting into marriage is no guarantees, right? Look, women want to get married for 2 things, right? It's because it's been a lifelong thing since they were a kid, and then they also want security, right? Period. Most men, if you really think about it, if you're going to get married, it should really be a business decision more than anything. Love is going to be a part of it, but it's a business decision. Does it work? You know what I'm saying? Or is it going to work for you? If the answer is no, you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just like you wouldn't go into a real estate project that you know you're going to lose $30,000 a year from, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you know that, then why would you even walk into that particular situation? You analyze across the board, you see if it's a good fit for you, and if it's a good fit, you move forward. But at the end of the day, you protect yourself at all costs. Even in my own relationship, my wife and I, we've been married for 7 years, and we got things combined and all of that. But at the end of the day, I may also say, I'm going to protect myself, and she also protect herself, just in case if something ever happens to either one of us, or we decide to go our separate ways. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I'm not one of those individuals where we come into this and then all of a sudden you get a divorce and now I'm trying to take everything you came with and stuff like that. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? We could split equally, or whatever you came in with, whatever I came in with, we go each other's ways, and then that's what it is. I'm a big, advocate of, when you're getting married, you know what I'm saying? Like, both partners should be able to, like, take care of themselves to the standpoint of if something happens, they can easily be able to walk away with no problems at all.
Man, oh man.
He say, isn't life a gamble and there's no guarantee in life? I
Absolutely.
mean, that's just let's move on.
I mean, he say this is a, mindset, right? I mean, or bad jokes. I don't know, but what I'm saying. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has a voice, and we all have the way in which we think, and
right.
the way in which we think leads to a lot of the circumstances that we end up dealing with and how we deal with them. So
he say, "Who hurt you, brother? Who hurt you?"
Right. Well, look at he say, look at his next comment. He actually says it. No. Keep going down.
Oh, it's somewhere down here.
Yeah, he just said he admits that he's damaged goods or something along those lines.
Okay, I'm just looking at the glass half empty.
I don't know, man. Keep going. She said, man, they said, man, the thing is so easy. She said, man, if you are attracting sloppiness, keep checking yourself. She said, brother Jamal, keep on living. He said, I'm just looking at the glass half empty. The clock is different at our age. Hesitation and caution will keep you single. Whatever happened to truly wanting to love, whatever happened to truly wanting to love one, we're approaching this too much on the surface.
He say, true. Most of us have approached every situation on the surface.
Right.
And here's I always like to say when a woman asks me what am I looking for in a particular partner, and I would tell them on the surface, I'm looking for somebody that I like looking at, talking to, and hanging out with. Everything after that is going to be more detailed into how our lives can potentially fit together. So yeah, on the surface, we all start out on the surface because we're window shopping. We see something shiny and nice, and we want to go check it out. So I get that. Hesitation and cautiousness will keep you single. I mean, yeah. I mean, because you're not gonna. I mean, some people do it. They meet somebody and say, you know what, let's go get married because I think you fly or whatever, and they just run out and do it. But they pay the consequence for that not knowing, because at that point, if you do something rash And quick, you either have to really be in it for the long haul, and that person has to be in it for the long haul, and you have to be able to work your stuff out, whether professionally or personally, or you're just going to keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. Because in my opinion, after every breakup, you should learn something about yourself and about the way that you're into, you put into a relationship, what you put into a relationship. And if you break up with somebody or somebody breaks up with you and you haven't learned anything from it, then you need to seek professional help.
He say though, isn't hesitation and cautiousness or the lack thereof, isn't that really a big factor in the divorce rate that we were talking about earlier? I mean, if you say you rushed into these things early, you weren't cautious to the win when you were younger, and boom, you end up with someone that you end up with for whatever reason. Maybe could have been avoided if you were a little bit more cautious with this lifelong decision that's really not a lifelong decision to people nowadays. It's just a contract. I mean, what's the alternative? I mean, what do we Toy guy, got anything to add to that?
Nah.
He say, man, a woman that wants equality and traditionalism wants neither. What she wants is a benefit. He say, man, some men try to fix her emotional but she has to see him for who he is. Either he shows concern or not. He say that first comment, trying to fix her emotional past. Whew, I don't know if you can win that one.
He say when you get in your 40s and 50s, you already know that that's not a path you want to travel. I think you do that when you're young and you see somebody's been hurt and you want to kind of, as they used to call it back in my day, it makes me sound kind of old, but the Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome, where you see somebody that's emotionally torn or emotionally broken, and you want to be the person to build her or him up so that they can become the person that you desire in the future. And I think we've learned that you can't do that.
Well, he say.
Hold on, Carl. He say, man, for the brothers, brothers, let's keep it real. Have you not experienced that and learned from that already? Go ahead, brother Carl.
Yo, he say, even at my age, I ain't trying to build nobody up or fix their emotional past. Like if I was out there and I was single and a person, and a woman actually got emotional baggage and all that stuff, I'm out of there, like not dealing with it. You got enough stress to deal with in your everyday life. You see what I'm saying? That's just not something I'm willing to take on. You can say that I'm shallow. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, but just at the end of the day, like, to me, it's just not worth it. If a person's not willing to, take their own emotional baggage in their hands and, work to try to fix it, go see a therapist, whatever the case may be, then what the hell am I to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, you'll end up spending 6 months, a year, 5 years, and then you realize now you damaged goods. No, thank you.
Man, he said I could. And when we start bringing that up, Brother Anthony, man, I had some vivid images because I remember taking on that project. And it's like, you know what? I see so much potential. Man, you could really be the one. Oh my goodness! But it's just this one little issue. And we call it little too. That one little issue.
Yeah.
We can work on that, man.
He said those little boulders are a hell on a brother when you're young. And as you get older and you go through those experiences, you quickly realize that, I don't want to take that on no more.
Man. He say, man, love does not require a contract. If you want to add something to the conversation, your brother, he say before your comments, she say for the sisters before your comments as well. Man, he say, man, I admit that I've been there, that I'm damaged goods. I'm hard on the female, LOL. All right, I appreciate
what I'm saying. She say,
I agree with brother. It should be a business decision because at the end, it's business, man. he say,
let's go back to that for just 1 second. He say, we talk about this mode of it in jest, that it's a business decision. But here's my thing. How many of us actually manage our relationships like we do our careers? For example, when you're at your job, you're having consistent meetings to give updates on projects and things along those lines. You're having consistent meetings on future planning. How are you going to, what your budget's going to be for X amount of projects for this next year. How many people actually do that in their relationship? You have a meeting about what vacations you're planning on taking, how you're going to fund those vacations, what major projects around your home that you're going to tackle, how you're going to fund those projects, who's going to manage it, who's going to be responsible for this project or that project, who's going to be responsible for this thing with the children, for that thing with the children, if you have them. I don't think a lot of us don't run our relationships on a business platform or business foundation when, like she said, at the end, it's not about the love, it's about the business. So why aren't we incorporating that business from the very beginning, the middle, as well as to have an end long on down the line?
Whew. Oh my goodness. See, he say, Brother Anthony, you sound like a very, very planning guy type of guy, man. Because you said broke that all the way down, and I wonder what it's like. I mean, not wonder, but there are relationships obviously that have no planners in it at all. Like neither one of the parts are planned in advance. It's free flowing, free spirited type of individuals, and I'd imagine that might not work very well with your brother Anthony.
Well, he say it usually does not, because one of the things for me that has always been an issue in any relationship that I've had is going on vacation. Vacation is not something that I think about because I'm usually thinking about how am I going to fund my retirement. So I'm not thinking about when am I going to take a vacation. And if I am thinking about when am I going to take a vacation, I'm also thinking about, is there business that I can do while I'm on vacation so I can get that vacation paid for? That's the way that I'm normally thinking about that. And so as far as the planning of it goes, I will tell any woman that I'm in a relationship with, you tell me when and where we're going, and then we can kind of, we can talk about it and plan it up to that point. But I don't want to do all the minutiae. I don't care about what excursions we're going on. I don't care about the destination. I don't care about any of that. Once I know where you want to go, then I start my planning process of, okay, how am I going to get this funded? How are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And can I do business while I'm there? That's usually the way I'm thinking about it. And that might be an issue in some relationships.
Man, come up to Brother Toy Guy, man. How do you deal with the whole vacation stuff, man? How do the married man deal with it?
Honestly, it's really not a problem. Like, I'm gonna tell you exactly how my wife and I operate. You're right. We may just sit down and say, man, we haven't been on a vacation in like a year or two. I want to go on a vacation. And she'll say it, and I'll say, you know what, me too. Then we'll say, well, where do you want to go? So then she'll list some places, I'll list some places. Then one of us will say, okay, I'll look into it, and then we'll get back with each other. Right. So then we'll look into it and say, hey, we were talking about going to Santorini, Greece. Right. I'm just making up a place. And we see how much it costs. And if it's within the budget or, and if it's not nothing super astronomical, then I'm normally the one to just say, all right, well, when do you want to go? Then she tells me, well, book the flight, and, the hotel room. And then, we'll do one or two things. Either we'll, split it. And what I mean by split is that she'll go into her personal account and grab half of the trip. I'll go in my personal account and grab half of the trip, and then we take care of it. And then whatever money that we spend on the trip, when we come back, we'll reconcile that and go from there. Or we got a joint account wherever, and then one of us will go get the money from there, and then pay off the entire trip. And then we keep it moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, we try not to, make it, bigger than what it really is. And what we ultimately try to do is, because we got married in September, we tend to try to take vacations around, like our wedding anniversary and just go from there. But it's nothing hard. And if it's a trip where I can write it off, I will, and if I can't, it's not a big deal. I look at it as it's a way to recharge my battery, so I can come back and deal with the BS and, as far as work, and then, really do my thing as far as business wise. And then that's pretty much about it, because you got to take time to yourself, relax, because if not, you can drive yourself crazy.
Man, I want to
throw a tour party on your next vacation and see how much it enhances that vacation when you get to write it off.
It's funny that you say that. The last trip that I actually went on, I want to say it was like St. Lucia. I ended up taking like about 50 like silver bullets, and I passed them out to like all of the women on the on the resort that I was at, that worked there. And then I ended up writing all that off, and then I then turned St. Lucia into a toy trap. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Hey, well, toy guy, he said, man, I want to come back to what was the decision there? What was that process that you went through with setting everything up where you had, hey, we're going to have our joint account, we have our own personal savings account. I think, for some that could be an issue for some. I'm not quite sure, but what was that process for y'all deciding that was good? You guys kind of split up your household finances.
Okay, got you. I got you. He said. So this is exactly how it happened, right? Is that, when we got married, prior to getting married, we realized, pretty much had duplicate things, right? Which was she worked, I worked. I owned a car, she owned a car. She had her own place, I had my own place. All right, cool. So who place we going to live in? Mine was larger than hers, so she decided to move in with me. We both kept our cars. We worked in separate locations, not a big deal. Then when we started looking at the whole financial structure, it was okay. I have money, she has money. Well, let's pull it all together, right? My thought was like, you know what I mean? Like I work really hard for my stuff. I know you work really hard for your stuff. So let's just keep those separate, right? But then, we ended up establishing a joint account. And with that, a joint account, that's where all of the bills, like the money we would put in, in order to like, pay bills and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was in the beginning, it was I paid the largest bill, which was the mortgage, and then she would pay all the miscellaneous bills. But then it came out to be that, that it wasn't fair. So then we ended up looking, I think, at like the Susie Orman program or something like that. So we have a spreadsheet where literally all the bills are actually split based upon the amount of money that we bring in, right? So because I make more money than her, then the percentage leans a little bit more heavier towards me percentage wise, but it's still, it's fair, for both partners.
That's pretty
So
smart.
huh?
And that's pretty smart.
Right. So then what ended up happening is just like over time, like we were, establishing and putting money into like a savings account and stuff like that. And now we were looking to try to buy another house. So in turn, what we decided to do is since we've already had years together, I know that she don't just blow through money. She knows I don't blow through money. The money that we actually had together, we pulled it together, and then that allowed us to be able to get more interest, do whatever we need to do, invest it. So that be the down payment on the new house when one of our houses gets sold and go from there. Then what we did was we just created new separate accounts, and then we just started saving, just in general. So she now has her own separate savings account like we did when we first started, and then I actually have mine, like we first started. But now that joint account, which is a savings account, has way more money in it due to the fact of all the money that we've saved over the years. And like I said before, we just really talk openly about finances monthly, at least once a month. I believe it's the 10th of every month. We sit down at the kitchen table, we pull up the spreadsheet, we see what the debts are, you know what I'm saying? We see, how much we're saving, we see where we can actually cut costs and all those things, and we see how we can help one another out. So, so I'll share one example of my car has been paid off for like a year and a half now. Hers wasn't. So we actually looked at the financial structure, saw it, and I told her, hey, you don't really owe that much left on your car. Just reach in the account, pay it off. And then this is how much more money we can save, and we can make all that back plus more. So we always revisit this, like on a monthly basis, and then just go from there. So it's a conversation, an ongoing conversation that we have all the time.
He said a business meeting on the 10th of every month.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. I told you before, it's a business transaction, boss.
Yeah.
But he said also there's good habits that's established to be able to consistently have that conversation going. As we know, a lot of relationships end based off of the lack of communication when it comes to money, particularly. Man, she say, man, that the women have kids, it's our responsibility to take care of the kids, and the man's need to help out with the kids. All right, honey. Brother, that's an issue. You say the representative is deceptive. Representative is deceptive. Absolutely. See what you guys. She say correct. She say facts. She say at the end of the day, relationships will work. If you're not ready to put in the work, don't clock in.
He said, I agree with that.
He say 100 on that one. He say 100 on that one. She say people need to heal first before hopping into the next relationship.
I agree with that.
She said I have no regret. He said I have no regrets. I did it my way. Yeah.
That's the problem.
And then our scorecards are only checked by God. I love hard. I fought hard. Everyone will not have the white picket fence, but it's okay. Absolutely. I hear you, brother. Absolutely. She say, man, we don't need to fix no one but ourselves. Absolutely. So everyone has their flaws also. So you have to decide what flaws you can deal with. That's that bullshit coming up to each other. So you say that's how a relationship or family should be ran, by having meetings. It's called communication. He say marriage is a business. Women have always viewed it as such, and it's time that men follow that mode of thinking. Oh, all right. He said a woman is a long-term contract. You're signing up for more than you can see or discuss within a relationship courtship period. Look out. She said exactly. I agree with Anthony. We need to manage our relationship, have a relationship blueprint to make sure we both want the same thing. He say that sounds great. I mean, but a relationship blueprint, that sounds like a great comment. But is there really a reality behind that?
Right.
Relationship. I mean, he said, I just, and I'm with Jamal when he's saying, looking at everything like with these rose-colored glasses or whatever. I get him when he's, really talking about some of the other sides to relationships. I get what he's adding to our conversation. But also at the same time, like, he said you got to deal with reality, man. I think that sometimes we go into the relationship with only thinking one side, which is good. Hope for the best and all that stuff as well. But as we're talking about, signs that you see, you still have to be cautious and pay attention so you can notice this stuff and recognize it. And the sooner that you can get to it, whether you discuss it or whether you deal with it or not, the sooner you can get on to happily ever after.
he say one of the things that I hate in this dating society with social media and so forth, that makes me laugh a lot of the times, is when people say they don't want to be interviewed. Whereas the dating process is an interview process. And that interview can be one day, it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be for however long. However, if that person, like we do in a regular job, if that person does not get through level 1 of the interview process, it's time to move on. And I think a lot of times when we were younger, we wasted a lot of time giving somebody multiple opportunities during the interview stage, or we just didn't interview at all. We saw what we liked, we jumped on board, and then we are where we are. Whereas now I think as we're getting older and mature and having access to a lot more information, people shouldn't shy away from interviewing a potential mate, whether that be for just long-term dating or whether that be for a potential mate to marry and have children with. We're in the information age, so we should be wanting to get as much information so that we can make a credible decision when we move into a relationship status with somebody. And I think from looking at some of the comments and listening to some of the people in some of these dating groups on Facebook, nobody really wants to utilize that information to their benefit.
Man, he said, I love what you said about interview, man, getting past these different levels in the interview process. Because listen, y'all, my hook has just got a little bit shorter, man. I give somebody the benefit of the doubt in the beginning, right? It's like, okay, I saw this, but maybe it was just a bad day. Okay, I'm gonna charge that to the game. And then it happened again. I'll be like, I saw this again. Let me bring this up. Just to, hey, I noticed that, you say you're gonna do something and you kind of forget or something. I don't know. I said, okay, we addressed it. Okay, now you know that I noticed. And let's see if it happens again. And it happens again. Oh Lord, okay. Listen, honey. this not gonna work. Maybe you just don't have time. Whatever the case may be. I don't think I can. I don't think you have space in your life for me. I'll be saying stuff all the time good now. I know how to say stuff good now to exit my way up out of there. Honey. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here for you. If you need a friend, call me anytime. Have a great weekend. And I just keep it moving, man. I learn how to exit tactfully. But man, when somebody show me, like, first time it could just be whatever. But consistently, that's who you are. That's who you are. And that's just who you are right now. You could change. I might not be around when you change, but that's who you are right now. And either I can deal with that or I can't. And I can't deal with that.
He said when they show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. Right. That's what I was saying earlier. He said.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, she say perfect, man. He say, man, it's better to know your own weak points at this age because you must sell those also. If you only send a representative, you're setting the other person up for disappointment because they think you have strong suits that really don't have. He say, I've never had much financial success with women because I've always ended up with the single moms. Captain Save mentality. We all have our experiences. Man, that's being honest.
He said, how old is Jamal? I would really like to know how old he is.
He got to be in his 40s and 50s, he said. I'm rolling the dice on that one.
Let's see what he answered, man. He said, remember that what you want in a relationship with meeting someone that's a potential mate. It's not always going to be an equal playing. Real talk, man. Appreciate that, Brother Lane. She say, see what the brother is saying, spreadsheets, percentages, meetings. Marriage is a business. He say some of the best relationships look good on paper, but I agree with that, brother. She say, of course. She say people are more concerned with social media attention with their relationships, cute pics, etc. Woo, and he say social media has become the third relationship between him and her. Females now judge and critique the strength of their shit according to memes and posts. It's too much to compete with. Man, he say he's 46, man.
I told you somewhere in there. He said, "No, you can just look at the pimp hat, man."
Yeah, he says that brother is my age, and you need to do some soul searching and go and talk. Utilize your benefits. A lot of the health benefits now give you 6 mental health meetings for you just to go and vent with a trained therapist so that you can work some of these issues out, because you need to get it off you so you can have and be open to a relationship in the second half of your relationship of your life, because at almost 50, every woman that you meet is going to have a child, and if you don't, you need to start dating women in their 20s if that's what you're looking for.
Right.
And that's going to give you a whole new set of problems at 46, 50 years old, dating a 20-year-old. So regardless of what stage in life you are, if you go too far to the left, you're going to have certain issues. If you go too far to the right, you're going to have some issues.
Right.
But the common denominator is going to always be you.
Yep.
So, brother, work on that. From one brother to another. I'm not trying to be funny or anything like that. But we have these health benefits at our jobs and we don't take advantage of them. Let's start taking advantage of this stuff so we can heal each other, so we can heal ourselves and lead to having other people heal themselves.
Right. And he said, just see the therapist, boss. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at one point in time, it got a little hectic for me. And my wife was like, you need to go see a therapist. And guess what? Like, you see this sofa that's behind me? All you do is you go in and you do like one of these numbers. You just lay back and you basically just say what you got to say, boss. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when you come up out of there, you feel so much better. So definitely take advantage of that. And if you do want to date young women like in their 20s and stuff like that, like my man, Brother Anthony said, that's going to cause a whole bunch of other issues. And if you need some stuff in order to keep up, you holler at me and I'll make sure you good on that front. But them 20-year-olds, they're a problem as well, man. Like, just stay in your lane. Everything will be cool.
Man. Hey, he said he just hold on, man. For a second. He just literally just told you to go get some mental health help, man.
Yo, but it's true. He say it's true. And that's a lot of things. Like, as us men, we just feel as though like we're men and we don't need this and we don't need that. Nah, yes, you do, brother. You know what I'm saying? Or you might possibly, you know what I'm saying, drop yourself off a cliff, go crazy. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Woo, man. She said everybody's laughing over here, man. He said, man, I'm just cynical. Don't take me serious.
I know. I'm just messing with you, boss. It's all good. He said.
Say use your health benefits, man. Say y'all are killing me, man. She said, Eric, I'm cracking up over here, man. He just licked on him, go to the Mental Health Institute. Woo, Lord. Oh, I wonder. Hey, no, the reason why I pointed out though, because he said, man, I can imagine now, Brother Anthony, when he come across one and miss me with the bullshit situations with the woman and how he just slick her off. Like I can just imagine what that sounds like.
You know, I've been told that I can be very, very rude when it comes, because I try to call myself like I will exit stage left with the quickness. And I mean, it'll go from simply, you know, I don't think we're compatible, or, you know, I'm going to take my relationship talents somewhere else, or something as simple as, you know, I don't think you and your flaws and my flaws aren't playing nicely together, and we need to go to different sandboxes.
He say, I'm gonna take my relationship talent somewhere.
I mean, it's funny and all, but I mean, these are conversations that I literally have with women. You know, I had, and I'll give you the last example that I just had with a woman. She was 45 years old, 2 children. According to her, she didn't want a relationship. She didn't want to get married. She didn't want any of this. So this was somebody that I would go out with when I was not working, when I had tickets to some. I could call her, we could go out or whatever. Well, of course, when that changed, and I could tell by the way that she was starting to talk to me that we need to have a where are we now conversation. And after having that conversation and her kind of beating around the bush about everything, and I said, you know what? I think that at this stage, it would be best for you to find somebody else to fill that void, because where I'm trying to go with this and where we originally set up, it's not working for me anymore. So I wish you well. And if you need a reference, I'll be sure to give you a reference if you want to have somebody call me. But it's just, I'm not the right guy for you.
Man,
y'all got
I paid the bill,
cold, man.
Walked up to her car, and I hadn't called her since.
Go ahead, brother boy.
You guys are cold, boy. Y'all are cold. Man, y'all cold. I'm glad I'm off the market, man. Y'all are cold.
You know, and you know, the sad part about this is, you know, we're afraid to tell somebody that we're not right. We're so used to ghosting people, and people people put the blame back on you like you're the problem, when in reality they were really the problem. And I'll give you another example. A woman that I was interested in a couple years ago, I come to find out that, you know, she had some health concerns. And when I did not want to sign up for those health concerns, she said that I was selfish and I was uncaring and so forth. And I said, well, you have a right to think like that. But when it comes down to it, and the type of relationship that I want to have, I don't want to sign up for a relationship with these issues at the forefront. If they had happened while we were in one, whole different story. But the way that I'm looking at your diet, the way you take care of yourself, and on top of all these health issues, I don't want to sign up for that going into my second half of my lifetime. And, you know, I hope you find somebody that can deal with all that. But I'm just not that guy.
Unless he say, unless she puts you on the life insurance policy. I'm just kidding.
I mean, but you know, because like for me, if I came into a relationship with a bunch of mental issues and a bunch of health issues, and a woman didn't want to sign up for it, I will completely understand.
Right.
But,
well, he say no. If you got mental health issues, you can't say you gonna completely understand. That's an oxymoron.
Well, I'm saying that from my standpoint right now. but see, that's the thing, though. If you never tell somebody, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying if you got mental health issues, you're not processing stuff properly. You ain't got it all together.
Okay. Which is another reason why you should exit stage left.
Hey, he say, Evan, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is what I would do. No, brother, you ain't really put yourself in all them shoes yet.
Well, he say it's hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes when you can't really understand the type of shoes that they wearing. You're on the outside looking in, but from my standpoint, I would like if a woman doesn't want to date me, tell me why so I can reflect on it. So when I do go to my therapy appointment, I can say, you know what this chick told me? And I can get some feedback on it. We can kind of work that out to whether I know if it's an issue for me to deal with or if it's an issue for her to deal with, and it has nothing to do with me. But it's all about being able to examine yourself, do that self-reflection, understand if it's an issue that you're dealing with, and be able to move on.
Man, hold on, man. He say, man, come on now. Like, I get your standards, brother, but man, good luck with that. Like, for her to tell you why she don't want to date you, shit. Nigga, you gonna be saying, how long?
Yeah, I asked. You say I asked.
I know you gonna. Yeah, you gonna. Listen. I'm sorry. I would love to know, but I ain't asking because that's gonna be another 1 hour and 45-minute conversation. At that point, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Hey, good luck with that. Not one thing for them to try to tell you, another thing for you to understand it. Because it's like, huh? You think like that? That's what the whole conversation is gonna be like. Oh wow, you think like that?
He say her understanding is not my problem. My part of it is the communication of what my issue is. Whether you understand it or not, once we hang up the phone, I'm done with it at that point.
Whew. Cold-blooded, man. Let's catch up on these comments, man. We got talking about relationship experience, man. Huge red flags. You may have just joined us. We do have some rules here. If you are a brother, want to add to the conversation, put he say in your comments so that your voice can be heard. If you're a sister and you want to add to the conversation, put she say and then your comments to represent what the sisters say. Let's catch up on these comments, man. She say use your. Oh yeah, we passed that already. She say it's real, man. He say South Beach. She say, man, Evan, you use those extra lines on us, right? She say, reference for dating is rough out there in them streets. I'm gonna go ahead and get you, Lindsay. I'm gonna assume you wanted to say she say. Don't be afraid to say when it's not a match or it isn't going to work. The sooner the better, even when it hurts. I know that's right, man. Them conversations are tough, but they got to be had. Got to be adults and have them. She say, I'm not signing up for all of that. Woo, Lord. He say, brothers and sisters need help after nasty breakups. Get the help you need for you so you know the signs of who you want in your life, man. Great advice. Yeah, he say, what if you lose your marbles within the marriage? Hey, she said.
He say that's a whole different conversation when you within your marriage. When we're talking about the dating process is quick and simple. When you're married, that's a whole different way you have to handle and deal with losing your marbles or what have you when you're in the bond of that marriage or that business relationship that you've gotten a contract for. That's completely different.
He say just go see the therapist. Telling you guys, just see the therapist. Cheetos, pineapple juice, and go see the therapist. That's it. That's all you need.
Pineapple juice.
Is it blocked? Software is blocked when we can't examine ourselves, see what our eyes refuse to accept for ourselves. Say, check, please. And she say, just maybe talking about just say for our awareness and emotional intelligence in our professional life, but in our personal but not in our personal and relation. And I think that's what you were saying, Brother Anthony. I don't know whether we put on for the personal relationships. I think we put on for both. I mean, I think you put on for your environment, and I believe that's. I think that breakage is what maturity is kind of about, from growing up to be put on, to be fit in, to be accepted wherever it is that you find yourself, to, man, this is who the fuck I am. You take it or leave it. And that way we can get right to what works for us. I think that's part of it.
If you're going to start out faking it, fake it all throughout. don't be one way at work and then bring me home somebody else. Because if you're gonna be if we go to the job and they telling me how nice you are and you're such a great help, but at home you're a hellion, I need that person that was at the job. I need her to come home. I don't need if you're gonna give me hell, you need to be giving them hell, and vice versa.
Man, Toy Guy, what would you say, man? Would you say that you're same kind of everywhere you are, or I mean, I think you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you now. Go ahead. You froze.
No problem. What would you say, man? Would you say that you're pretty much the same on the job or at work as you are at home with the wife, or would you say that those are two different things?
No. I'm pretty much the same. The way how I am, at work is how I am at home. Now, the only thing that might be different is like my properness. Like that's about it. As opposed to being home, I might joke around a little bit more. I might talk more slang when I'm home. But other than that, as far as personality, diligence, getting things done, and all that type stuff, the same Carl that's at work is the same Carl that's at home.
Absolutely, man. Hey, catch up with these comments, man. We begin to close this show out, man. He say some of the finest women are stars on the job, but act a fool at home. She say you are right about mental health when trying to date women. Don't be afraid to her. LOL. If you like to go out with me, or I will ask someone else to go out. Okay. Communication. I'm working on understanding what you wrote, but yeah, thanks so much. Anyway, so tonight, guys, he say, she say, so as we you see the panel here discussing relationship experience and huge red flags. I think it's very valid to be able to notice and see these things that you see, and when people show you who they are, to believe them. Here's a wonderful thing: like who they are now does not necessarily mean that's who they always will be. But more often than not, it kind of is. I mean, you've seen people that have been the same way for the past 20, 30, 40 years. They have not developed, evolved at all. Some people have changed. Like, oh, wow, you're not the same person you used to be. Oh, you're much more pleasant now. I mean, you smile now. Wow, what's happened in your life? So things can change for people. That doesn't mean you got to go through the process. I mean, wherever you are, when y'all meet, y'all got to make some decisions, some grown folk decisions. That's just what we do. Man, again, this is where everybody has a voice, man. Brother Anthony, man, your last words for the peeps here today on the He Say, She Say show, as we've been talking about watching out for the signs.
To kind of close everything out, hey, don't be afraid to ask those extra questions. Don't be afraid of going to a therapist if you might need one. And number 3, if contradictions occur in somebody's personality, let's pray that it's because of growth and not because of them faking.
Man, that's a great one, man. Some contradictions in their personality. Oh, that's something to talk about next time we get together. Oh, Lord, contradictions in personality is a great topic. Man, Brother Carl, man, Toy Guy here. Again, he last word on the He Say, She Say show, signs to watch out for.
Well, like, to be honest with you guys, and he said, is, like disrespect, people that's willing to not, to communicate, which is like one of the biggest things for me, or just, just be themselves is like, some of the red flags, to definitely look out for. But my whole thing is that when you do see those red flags, don't think you can try to change that person or be that person's inner peace or whatever the case may be. Just pack your bags and keep it moving. You save yourself less drama, less headache, and that's pretty much about it. Like when a person does something to you and you know that that's just not right, don't give them a pass or anything like that. Just move on. To me, it ends up just working out better that way, because you don't want to be in a situation where somebody might be, a red flag is they're violent to you, but you still, he or she is still a good person. And then they end up, you know what I'm saying, like hurting you or severely hurting you, and then you have those type of issues. So when you see those red flags, just, my thing is just move on.
Man, he said, man, those red flags, this is just an excellent topic, because I think it's, as we come across people or we deal with relationships, people, all types of relationships, at the end of the day, there's some red flags that you can deal with and some that you can't. I mean, every red flag is not the thing that you necessarily walk away from, but you have to ask yourself if that's something that you can deal with. I know a huge red flag for me, being that I'm very, very cognizant of time and very valuable. Time is very valuable to me. Is a person who just simply has a hard time honoring their word in one way or the other, and leave total disrespect to them not honoring their word. And then you're like, okay, and I just keep it moving, and that's a huge red flag, because once you show it to them, it's like, okay, I can't deal with that. I just can't. There's some things I can't deal with. That right there, I can't deal with. Right? You say you're gonna do something, you can't get it done, can't get it there on time. There's no contact, no communication. What's the problem? Then it happens again. Nah, boo, that's just who you are. I'm gonna keep moving until I find someone that actually find their word is very, very valuable to them. So, at any rate, man, he's gonna say this, man. Truth, absolutely says people feeling involved in his heart. Unfortunately, that's very, very true. I don't know when we're gonna do this again, guys. I just kind of, it was like, hey, today's Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. I know y'all was off tomorrow, so I figured we have a great conversation. I'll probably do this once a month. If I can't do it any sooner or more, I will. But this is the He Say, She Say show where everybody has a voice. So why not let your voice be heard, man? Had a wonderful conversation tonight discussing the relationship experience, huge red flags. And I hope that we have really taken something away from each side of the house, some things that we might have noticed by someone else is saying indirectly that we might do some of this stuff. And it could be, hindering your satisfaction in these relationships that you might have. Might be something you might want to check out. Go get some help, some healing, do what's necessary. Do whatever's necessary to get better, man. This is the He Say, She Say show where everybody has a voice, man. I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God that's more than enough. Y'all know what time it is, man. Mr. DJ, hit the music. Oh, that's the wrong one.
You've been watching the He Say, She Say show. We thank you for tuning in. Until next time, keep that conversation going. He say, she say.